Hi, I'm John Cranton. Let's talk NFL action previews for the fall football season 2012. We're going to take a look at the AFC West today. Now, this is a division that really nobody wanted to win last year. You had three teams that were 8-8, and the fourth that was 7-9. So what are we going to see for 2012? Well, in a quarterback-driven league, the Denver Broncos were the big winner with the Peyton Manning sweepstakes. However, we're going to start with the San Diego Chargers, the team that we think should win this division. Denver was minus 81 in points allowed, and the Chargers at plus 29 were the only team in this division to have scored more points than they have given up, and that Denver minus 81 does not include that 45-10 playoff loss. Now the Chargers, their over-under projected wins is 9. That's an offense that was very potent and balanced. They were 6th in passing, 16th in rushing last season. You got quarterback Phillip Rivers, one of the best in the game, 27 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. Threw for 4,624 yards. He's got good weapons with tight end Antonio Gates. They did lose their top target and wide receiver Vincent Jackson, but they bring aboard very quick Eddie Royal, and they bring in running back Ronnie Brown for the backfield to team with Ryan Matthews. So you should have good balance with this offense, which will help Rivers cut down his turnovers. Plus, the Chargers have installed the Wildcat, so that'll give more teams something to think about with Brown as part of the action. And the defense was in the middle of the pack after being very good 2 years ago. They were 16th in yards allowed, and they add rookie running back Melvin Ingram, a linebacker. And the Chargers last year were vastly overvalued, starting the season 2-9 against the spread, but they finished up 4-1 ATS, a mark that they will be bringing into the new season. Schedule isn't that bad either. They have 3 non-conference road games that are difficult at New Orleans, at the Steelers, and at the Jets. But the Chargers should get off to a very fast start, as their first 9 games of the season are highly manageable, you might even say easy, outside of a trip to New Orleans. So looks like a good bounce-back season for Norv Turner and the Chargers with that balanced offense, and he certainly needs it. Then you got the Denver Broncos, projected 9.5 wins. Peyton Manning certainly upgrades this offense. It'll be fun to watch him with young wide receiver Demaryius Thomas. Plus, they bring in wide receivers Andre Caldwell and Brandon Stokely. But let's tame the excitement here a little bit. Manning has had 4 neck surgeries. Is he healthy? Is he just 75%? And the offensive line is a major concern for Denver. They've really been a mess the last 2 seasons, and they were particularly bad in that playoff loss to New England. Now, left tackle Ryan Clady, he was terrific when Mike Shanahan was here running that zone blocking schemes, but ever since Shanahan left, Clady has been very poor. He surrendered 8 sacks in 2009 and 6 in each of the last 2 seasons. And you got rookie right tackle Orlando Franklin. He struggled badly last year, even though he is back. And the Denver defense is just awful. They rank 20th in yards allowed, 22nd in trying to stop the run, and 24th in points allowed, 24.4 points per game. And again, that doesn't include that 45-10 playoff loss at New England. Now, they do bring aboard rookie defensive tackle Derek Wolfe. He was drafted with a number 36 overall pick, so he will join the speedy young linebackers Von Miller, the defensive rookie of the year, and Elvis Dumerol. So they do have some speed on the edge, which will help the pass rush. However, this team not very good against the run, and that's a major concern. Then you got the secondary. Everybody knows about Champ Bailey and how good he is. However, the Denver safety play was just atrocious last season. A lot of new looks this year. They bring in cornerback Drayton Florence, safety Mike Adams, and cornerback Tracy Porter. A lot of new faces, though, on a very below-average defense. Now, the Broncos lost their last 3 regular season games last season. They had a losing record at home. And if anything happens to Manning and his 4 neck injuries and suspect offensive line, who are the backups? Caleb Haney and rookie Brock Osweiler. No way I'm looking at Denver to go over 9.5 wins with all these problems and flaws. Their schedule isn't very good either. Away games at New England, at San Diego, at Atlanta, at Cincinnati, at Baltimore. And even the home games, they got to play the Steelers and the Saints. Keep in mind the Broncos are on a 5-2 run over the total going back to last season. And adding Peyton Manning and this suspect defense, wouldn't be surprised to see them as a good team over the total. And we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Their over-under win projected at 8. This is a team that was 7-9 last place last year. They were minus 126 in point differential. That was second worst in the NFL. However, they were a team just totally decimated with injuries. And they got a lot of top talent returning. Running back Jamal Charles, tight end Tony Mawecki, and safety Eric Berry all had season-ending injuries. And then you had Matt Castle, the quarterback. He missed the last 7 games of the season. So you got a ton of talent coming back on offense. In the backfield, you got running backs Jamal Charles and Dexter McClusker. You got wide receiver Dwayne Bowes, who finally lived up to his potential with over 1,100 yards, and Steve Breston. And the offense adds running back Peyton Mills from the Browns and tight end Kevin Moss. Should be a very balanced and upgraded offense. And the offensive line only allowed 34 sacks last season. That was 10th in the NFL, and they received a big boost with the signing of right tackle Eric Winstrom this offseason. And the defense was outstanding under great coach Romeo Crennel. He did a masterful job all season, particularly when they shut down quarterback Aaron Rodgers late in the season and all those high-octane weapons that they have. Overall, Kansas City was 11th in yards allowed, and they had rookie nose tackle Dontario Poe from Memphis. He was the 11th overall pick in the draft, so you get him up front to help a defense that was 26th against the run, combining with Glenn Dorsey and Tyson Jackson, who were top 5 selections. And plus, they have stud linebacker Derek Johnson, so there's plenty of tools for Crennel to work with. Schedule is moderately difficult on the road. They play at the Saints, at the Chargers, at Pittsburgh, at Denver, but they do have home games against Carolina, the Browns, the Colts, and Tampa Bay. The last year, the Kansas City was 12-4 under the total. With the very good defense and ball control conservative offense, wouldn't be surprised to see that trend continue. Kansas City might be a team to look at under the total from game to game. And finally, the last place team that we project in the AFC West be the Oakland Raiders. Their over-under win total is 7. As a team that won 8 games last year, but you have to wonder, how did they do it? Quarterback Carson Palmer and Jason Campbell combined for 20 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. Now, they lost Campbell, also lost running back Michael Bush. There's still wide receiver Darius Haywood-Bay. He had 975 yards, but he did fade down the stretch after October. You got Darren McFadden, but he's often injured, and they do not really have a pass-catching tight end. So there's a lot of limitations with this offense. And Palmer tossed 10 of his 16 picks last year when he was under pressure, so the offensive line is a concern. Now, they did surrender just 25 sacks. That was 3rd fewest in the NFL, but there are concerns at left guard and right tackle. You got 35-year-old Cooper Carlisle and rookie Tony Bergstrom. And then there's the defense. Boy, the Oakland defense was just horrendous last season. 29th in yards allowed. They couldn't stop the run. 27th against the run, giving up 136 yards rushing per game. A lot of defensive losses, too. They lost Chris Johnson, Stanford Rout, John Henderson, and defensive end Cameron Wembley. All these guys are significant losses, and the lack of a pass rush, that's going to put more pressure on a secondary that has lost its top 2 cornerbacks in each of the last 2 seasons. And remember, when they traded for Carson Palmer, they gave up 2 high draft picks, so there's no real help coming in the draft either. The Raiders last year committed a whopping 283 penalties. That was easily the widest margin in the NFL. They're also on a 7-2 run over the total. Not a very pretty schedule either. Road games at Miami, at Denver, at Atlanta, at Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and San Diego. Very difficult to see where over 8 wins or over 7 wins are going to come from with this team that'll probably be in last place again. Now, if you're looking for specials, Jim Feist has his Early Bird Pro Football Special. You can get all of Jim's preseason NFL selections, all 4 weeks of his executive service plays for $29 if you sign up before August 1st, and that's going to include his preseason game of the year. Good luck with the games, and let's bring on football.